punishment. It is God's way of waking you up. Yes, you heard that right. You're not lost because you failed. You're lost because God is preparing you for something greater. I want to speak to that person who feels like they have no direction, who wakes up every day but feels no purpose, who smiles outside but feels broken inside. Listen carefully, God did not create you to wander without meaning. God did not design your life to be confusion and chaos forever. What you are feeling right now, this emptiness, this uncertainty, this pain, it's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your awakening. Because sometimes God removes clarity so you can discover faith. Sometimes God breaks your plans so you can build a stronger purpose. So if you're feeling lost, don't run away from it. Face it, understand it, grow through it. Have you ever felt like you're wandering through life with no map, no direction, no clue where you are heading? Maybe you've woken up some mornings and stared at the ceiling, wondering, am I on the right path? Does my life even matter? That feeling of being lost can be terrifying. It can make your heart heavy, your mind restless, and your soul question everything. But here's the truth. Feeling lost is not a sign that you are failing.
In fact, it's a sign that something extraordinary is happening inside you. Feeling lost is a sign of growth.
Think about a seed buried under the soil. To the outside world, it seems like nothing is happening. The soil is dark, heavy, and confining. But inside that seed, amazing changes are occurring. It's growing roots that will anchor it, and shoots that will eventually reach for the sun. The process is uncomfortable, invisible, and sometimes even painful. But without that darkness, without that struggle, the seed could never become the tree it was destined to be. Your feeling of being lost is very much like that seed. You are in the soil of your life, in a space that feels uncertain, and yes, it feels uncomfortable, but you are growing, even if you cannot see it yet. Let me give you a real life example. Imagine a young person, fresh out of school, staring at a blank page of life. They don't have the dream job, they don't have the perfect relationship, and the future feels like a foggy road disappearing into nowhere. For months, they feel confused, directionless, almost defeated. They scroll through social media and see everyone else moving forward, achieving milestones, living the life they thought they would have by now. It's easy to feel like they are falling behind. But here's the magic. They are not lost, they are growing. Every uncertain step they take, every moment of confusion, every choice that feels like a mistake is teaching them resilience, patience, and clarity. That young person is learning more about themselves in that lost phase than they would in any smooth, easy journey. Being lost forces you to reflect. It forces you to ask the hard questions. What do I truly want? What am I willing to fight for? What am I willing to fight for? What am I willing to fight for? What is my purpose beyond the expectations of society, friends, or family? When everything familiar fades away, you start noticing the things that truly matter. Maybe you realize that happiness doesn't come from a paycheck or a title, but from meaningful connections, small acts of kindness, and the courage to follow your own path. Maybe you see that the people around you aren't as important as the relationship you have with yourself and with God, who is silently guiding your steps. Feeling lost makes you look inward. It strips away all the distractions and illusions, and it brings you closer to your own truth. Consider another example. Think about someone who has been working in a career for years, feeling comfortable but unfulfilled. They've hit a plateau, and suddenly, life throws a curveball, a job loss, a move to a new city, or a failed relationship. For weeks or months, they might feel utterly lost. They question everything they once believed about themselves and their future. But slowly, they begin to see a new path. They discover hidden talents, forge new connections, or pursue a passion they had ignored. That lost phase was the soil for their transformation. It was the stage of growth where old habits were shed and a stronger, wiser version of themselves began to emerge. Feeling lost also teaches patience and trust. You realize that growth cannot be rushed. You cannot skip the steps or force clarity when your life is in transition. God often uses these seasons to prepare you, to strengthen your heart, to sharpen your mind, and to expand your spirit.
The discomfort you feel, the fear of uncertainty, the heaviness in your chest, all of it is temporary.
Just like the seed, you are slowly building roots of strength, endurance, and wisdom that will carry you through storms you haven't even imagined yet. And here's the most beautiful part: feeling lost is universal. Every successful person, every wise soul, every person who has ever achieved greatness has felt lost at some point. They may not have admitted it, but the truth is, being lost is part of the journey. It's the stage where you are stripped of false confidence, where life humbles you, and where your character is forged. Those who embrace their lost phases, who face uncertainty with courage and faith, often emerge with purpose, vision, and clarity that others who never felt lost can never understand. So, if you are feeling lost right now, stop punishing yourself. Stop thinking that something is wrong with you. Embrace it. Embrace this season of life, because it is shaping you in ways that are invisible but profoundly real. Remember, the seed cannot grow without the soil. You cannot soar without learning to navigate uncertainty. You cannot become who you are meant to be without first learning to walk through the fog. Feeling lost is not the end, it is the beginning. Take a deep breath, feel your heart, and remind yourself, this confusion, this emptiness, this fear, it is temporary. God is guiding you even when you cannot see the path. You are growing, you are evolving, you are becoming a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. And when the fog lifts, when clarity finally arrives, you will look back at this moment and realize that being lost was the greatest gift you could have received, a gift of growth, transformation, and awakening. Have you ever felt like life has turned against you? Maybe you planned everything perfectly. Your career, your relationships, your future, and yet suddenly doors you expected to open are shutting.
Opportunities vanish, people leave, situations change, and you're left standing in the middle of a storm, wondering, why is this happening to me? Has God forgotten me? It's natural to feel that way.
When life doesn't follow our plans, it's easy to feel abandoned. But here's the truth. God is not abandoning you. He is redirecting you. Think of it like this. Imagine a parent walking way, a child near a busy road. The child sees a toy across the street and runs toward it, not noticing the cars. The parent stops the child, holds them back, and guides them to a safer path. The child might feel frustrated, confused, even angry for a moment. But the parent is not punishing the child. They are redirecting them to protect them, to guide them towards something far better than their immediate desire. This is exactly how God works in our lives. When you feel blocked, when plans crumble, when people disappoint you, it's not because you are unworthy or forgotten. God is guiding you away from danger, toward a better path, one you may not see yet. Consider someone who has dreamed of a specific career since childhood. They work hard, study diligently, and dedicate themselves to this goal. They get close, perhaps even land an opportunity. And then suddenly, it falls through. Maybe the company shuts down, or they are rejected, or circumstances change beyond their control. For a moment, it feels like the universe is conspiring against him. But later, they discover that this closed door led them to something even more meaningful, a career that aligns with their passion, that uses their talents fully, that brings more fulfillment than they ever imagined. That missed opportunity wasn't a failure, it was God redirecting them toward what was truly meant for them. Life has a way of teaching us to trust in this divine guidance. Imagine a river flowing down a mountain. It encounters rocks, obstacles, bends, and turns. Sometimes it must take a longer winding path to reach its destination. From the perspective of a person standing on the riverbank, it might seem inefficient, even frustrating. Why isn't it flowing straight? They ask. But the river knows its destination. It is being guided naturally, intelligently, toward where it needs to go. Similarly, when your plans are delayed, when situations change unexpectedly, when life forces you to take a detour, it is not a denial of your dreams.
It is God's way of ensuring that you reach the destination you are truly meant for, safely, fully, and in your perfect timing.
Let me share another real-life example. A young woman invests years in a relationship. Believing it is the one, she plans her future, builds dreams, and pours her heart into it. Then unexpectedly, the relationship ends. The heartbreak is unbearable. She questions her worth. She questions her faith. She questions God. But over time, she begins to see that this ending was not abandonment. It was a redirection. It freed her to discover herself, to grow emotionally and spiritually, and ultimately to meet someone whose presence complements her soul in ways she could never have imagined.
God closed that door to open a much brighter, healthier, and more fulfilling path. Being redirected also teaches resilience and faith.
Life's detours are not punishments, they are preparation. When you are forced to step off a path that seemed perfect, you learn flexibility, you learn to release control and trust a higher wisdom. You discover talents, strengths, and perspectives that you would never have known if everything had gone according to your original plan. Often, the redirection leads to opportunities, people, and experiences far beyond what you could have envisioned. Even in everyday moments, these redirections appear. Perhaps a friend cancels plans, forcing you to stay home. And that evening, you have a moment of insight or inspiration that changes your life. Perhaps a job doesn't work out, and you stumble upon a new skill or business idea that becomes your greatest success. Perhaps a setback in health or finances teaches you lessons in gratitude, patience, and perseverance. These small, seemingly inconvenient changes are God's way of nudging you, steering you, guiding you gently, but purposefully. So, when life doesn't go the way you want, when people let you down, when doors close, and plans crumble, remember this: you are not abandoned.
You are being redirected. You may not understand it now.
You may feel frustrated, lost, or impatient, but trust that the path you are being led toward is tailored for your growth, your fulfillment, and your ultimate happiness.
Embrace these moments of redirection. Instead of resisting, ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me?
Where is this leading me? Pay attention to the subtle signs, the unexpected opportunities, the lessons in patience and courage. Your life is not being paused. It is being guided. And when the clarity comes, when the path unfolds before you, you will look back and realize that every twist, every turn, every closed door was necessary. God was not absent. He was at work, redirecting you with infinite wisdom and love. So, if you are feeling lost, blocked, or rejected today, hold on. Trust the timing, trust the process, and trust God's redirection. What feels like a setback now is the very thing that will propel you into the life you are meant to live. You are being led, even when you cannot see it, and the destination is far greater than you ever imagined. There are moments in life when everything becomes quiet. Not peaceful, quiet, but a heavy, uncomfortable silence. The phone doesn't ring. The messages stop. The opportunities don't come. The messages stop. The opportunities don't come. The answers you've been praying for seem delayed. And in that silence, your mind becomes loud. And in that silence, your mind becomes loud. Doubts start whispering. Fears begin to grow. And you start asking yourself, why is nothing happening? Why is God not answering me? But what if that silence is not emptiness? But what if that silence is not emptiness? What if that silence is actually where the deepest transformation is happening? What if in the quiet moments you are trying to escape God is speaking to you in ways louder than any noise in the world? We live in a time where noise surrounds us constantly.
Social media, conversations, entertainment, endless scrolling, there is always something filling the space. And because of this, we have become uncomfortable with silence.
The moment things get quiet, we rush to fill it. We pick up our phones, turn on music, distract ourselves. Why? Because silence forces us to face ourselves. Why? Because silence forces us to face ourselves. It forces us to sit with our thoughts, our fears, our truth. But growth does not happen in noise. Clarity does not come in chaos. The most powerful realizations of life are born in silence. Think about a simple, everyday example. Imagine you are struggling with a decision. Something important about your future. Something important about your future. You ask people for advice, you listen to different opinions, you watch videos, you gather information. Everyone is talking, everyone is giving you answers, but deep inside, you still feel confused. Why? Because the answer you are looking for is not outside, it is within, and you can only hear it when everything else becomes quiet. There's a reason why some of the most successful and wise people in the world take time to be alone. Not because they are lonely, but because they understand that silence is powerful. In silence, you begin to understand your own thoughts. In silence, your mind slows down. In silence, your heart starts to speak. Let's take another real-life example. A young man loses his job unexpectedly. His routine breaks. His confidence shakes, and suddenly he has a lot of time. Time he didn't ask for. At first, he feels restless. He tries to distract himself, to avoid the discomfort. But eventually, he has no choice but to sit in that silence. And in that space, something begins to shift. He starts reflecting on his life. He realizes that he was never truly happy in that job. He remembers passions he had ignored, dreams he had pushed aside. That silence, which once felt like punishment, becomes a turning point. It becomes the moment he reconnects with his purpose. Silence has a way of revealing truths that noise hides. It shows you what truly matters and what doesn't. It helps you see the difference between what you want and what you actually need. It strips away the distractions and brings you face to face with your reality. But here's the challenge. Silence is not always comfortable. Sometimes it brings up emotions you've been avoiding. Regret, fear, insecurity, pain. And that's why many people run from it. But the truth is, those emotions are not there to break you. They are there to teach you. They are there to guide you toward healing and growth. Think about the moments before sunrise. The world is quiet, still, almost asleep. It feels like nothing is happening. But that is the exact moment when a new day is being prepared. Light is on its way, even if you cannot see it yet. In the same way, your silent moments are preparing you for something new. Just because you cannot see progress doesn't mean nothing is happening. Even in your daily life, you can notice this. When you step away from noise, even for a few minutes, you start thinking more clearly. You become more aware. You make better decisions. That's because in silence, you are not reacting, you are understanding. And this is where faith becomes powerful. Because in silence, you learn to trust. You learn to believe that even when you don't hear immediate answers, guidance is still there. God doesn't always speak through loud signs or dramatic moments. Sometimes the guidance comes as a quiet feeling in your heart, a sense of peace about a decision, a subtle push toward a certain direction, a realization that suddenly makes everything clear. But you can only notice these things if you allow yourself to be still. So instead of fearing silence, start embracing it. Create moments in your day where you disconnect from the noise, sit alone, reflect, breathe, and listen, not to the world, but to your inner self. Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your instincts. That is where clarity begins. Because the truth is, the answers you are searching for are not far away. They are already within you. God placed them there, but they are hidden beneath layers of noise, distraction, and fear. And silence is the key that uncovers them. So the next time life becomes quiet, don't panic. Don't assume something is wrong. Instead, see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to grow, to reflect, to reconnect. Because in that silence, something powerful is happening. Because in that silence, something powerful is happening. You are being guided, you are being shaped, you are being prepared. And when you finally understand what that silence was trying to tell you, you will realize that it was never empty. It was full of answers. One of the heaviest burdens we carry in life is comparison. We scroll through social media and see someone's success, someone's happiness, someone's achievements, and suddenly we feel like we are falling behind. We compare our struggles to their victories, our behind the scenes to their highlight reels. And in that moment, we forget something crucial. Your journey is yours alone. It cannot and should not be measured by anyone else's timeline, accomplishments, or standards. Think about it. Every person you see on the surface has walked a path you know nothing about. You see the smile, the success, the confident posture, but you don't see the long nights of struggle, the moments of doubt, the failures they endured to get there. Comparing yourself to others is like judging a book by its cover without ever reading the chapters that made it complete. Your journey is unique, your timing is unique, and the pace at which your life unfolds is intentionally designed for you by God. Consider an everyday example. A young woman graduates from college and starts working at an entry-level job. She scrolls through Instagram and sees her friends traveling the world, buying cars, starting businesses, and living what looks like the perfect life. She feels anxious, frustrated, even defeated. But what she doesn't see is that behind those posts, her friends have faced failures, heartbreaks, financial struggles, and moments of doubt. Comparing herself to them only steals her peace, blinds her to her own blessings, and makes her forget her own unique path. Her journey is not behind theirs. It is different and it is divinely timed. Even in families, comparison can weigh heavily. A sibling gets praised for achievements, a cousin wins awards, a friend succeeds in ways you hope to. The temptation is to feel less than, to feel like you're not enough. But what if you shifted your focus? The temptation is to feel less than. What if instead of comparing, you began appreciating your own growth, your own lessons, your own progress? Every small step you take, every challenge you overcome, every lesson you learn is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. And that journey cannot be replicated because it is yours and yours alone. Let me give you another powerful example from daily life. A man starts a small business. His friends boast about launching large companies, making huge profits, and gaining public recognition. He feels discouraged, thinking he's too small, too slow, too ordinary. But over time, he notices something important. His small business allows him to serve people in meaningful ways, develop skills, build relationships, and create stability for his family. His journey may not look glamorous, but it is rich, fulfilling, and perfectly aligned with his purpose. The moment he stopped comparing himself, he began thriving. He realized that God's plan is not about being like someone else. It's about being the best version of yourself. Comparison also robs us of joy. When we are constantly measuring our life against others, we forget to celebrate our own victories, no matter how small. A promotion, a personal breakthrough, a healed relationship, a skill mastered. These are all milestones worthy of gratitude. Every step forward, no matter how slow, is progress. Every challenge you overcome is proof that you are moving forward. God's timing is perfect, and your journey unfolds at exactly the pace it needs to, with lessons and experiences that are unique to you. Think about nature. Every tree grows at its own rate. Some grow tall quickly, some take decades to reach full bloom. Some bloom early and wither fast, others blossom slowly but live longer. No tree compares itself to another. Each one fulfills its purpose according to its design, the soil it grows in, the sunlight it receives, and the water it needs. Human life is no different. When you stop comparing, you start focusing on what nourishes your soul, what allows you to grow, and what aligns with your own purpose. Even in everyday routines, comparison can creep in. A friend's house is bigger, their car is newer, their kids seem happier, their job seems better. Instead of celebrating your blessings, you focus on what you lack. But what if you paused, reflected, and appreciated what you already have? Your own home, your own family, your own opportunities. They are gifts perfectly suited to your journey. Gratitude turns comparison into contentment, envy into inspiration, and frustration into focus. Comparison also limits potential. When you measure yourself against someone else's path, you start doubting your own capabilities. You might think, I'm too slow, I'm too late, I'll never catch up. But your journey is not about catching up. It's about moving forward in alignment with your purpose. God doesn't give everyone the same map or the same timeline. He gives each person what they need to grow, to flourish, and to fulfill their calling. So today, stop comparing your journey to anyone else's. Stop measuring your life by someone else's successes. Instead, focus on your own growth, your own lessons, and your own progress. Celebrate the small wins, embrace the detours, and trust the timing of your life. Remember, what is meant for you will never miss you, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Your path is unique, your pace is perfect, and your story, no matter how long it takes to unfold, is exactly what it needs to be. When you stop comparing, you finally start living fully, deeply, and authentically. You begin to walk your path with confidence, gratitude, and faith, knowing that God is guiding you every step of the way toward the life only you are meant to live.